What's good, party people? What's happening out there in outrage land? We live, we sharing it out on the Facebook, everybody. How the fuck we doing? On a goddamn Wednesday night slash Thursday morning. Smells like the fall of Rome in here, god damn it. That was a line that me and Kevin Pollard wrote in the first bullshit script we put together. Rome is burning, it was called, and it got torn apart by a man who voted on the Oscar committee and kindly looked over it for us and tore it to shreds, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, according to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the world is ending in 12 years. We're going to get into that. Certainly feels like something is ending. Could it be the American empire? Could it be the empire of pedophilia in Hollywood? It's all so scintillating. So interesting, ladies and gentlemen. So much going on. And I'm just, waiting with bated breath for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to explain the world to me and put it in simpleton terms for me to understand it, as we all are. What would we do without our lovely socialist ruler there to explain reality to where we can understand it? And she wears stylish pea coats, and so we don't need any evidence for climate change. It's just what she says, and so it's happening. All right? It's the fall of Rome, and brought to you by carbon dioxide, ladies and gentlemen. Time for some Dragon Energy. We can get this viewership populated here. Hey, what's happening? Oh, it's a face full of cloud right there, baby. Just like we're fogging up the atmosphere out here. I'm doing it single-handedly. I'm enlarging my carbon footprint and enraging all the climate scientists. The oceans are rising thanks to my clouds alone. I'm just mucking up the ozone layer. You're welcome. Brought to you by Dragon Energy, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it's like Game of Thrones in this motherfucker all of a sudden. Oh, shit. How we feeling out there in outrage land? What's popping, baby? Outrage land. It's the kingdom of outrage. I am your federal outrage chancellor. We're keeping it just as federal as the Federal Reserve here, ladies and gentlemen, on the flourishing cult of the outrage cast here. It's your outrage chancellor, as usual, Mr. Nick Jordan, here to break down all of the outrage of the world into a nice little nutshell for you, so you can get fully fueled up on your outrage, ladies and gentlemen. You get a full outrage tank, and you're just gonna blast off into the atmosphere and clog up that ozone layer, and make sure we all need to pay our taxes to Al Gore, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Leonardo DiCaprio, because they are the overlords that understand, all right, that the plebeians are using too much energy. And as Stefan Molyneux points out, that's why we need to bring in all these third world migrants who don't necessarily use up a lot of energy, but then when they get to the first world, they're gonna be stepping that footprint game up, baby. Stepping that footprint game up, because we're tolerant and accepting, and we have our borders wide open here in America, because it's not about white people having any self-respect or any backbone there. It's about bending over and letting the world have a piece of that American ass. All right, everybody wants a piece of that American ass, and we just got to give it up. All right, it's not about slut shaming. Okay, it's not about chastity belts. It's about cutting loose for America. You do it for your country because this is a nation of immigrants. We have no principles. We're just wide open, baby. That's why it smells like the fall of Rome. All right, we got tens of trillion dollars in debt. We got hundreds of trillions in unfunded liabilities, and we don't give a fuck. We're just trying to expand the government power. And what's up? Must have a camel. Is that some Arab propaganda there? Are you out there copulating with camels? That's deviant behavior, sir. And I don't condone that shit talking toward the president there. Our fine commander-in-chief who shows us all the value of having buildings with your name on the side of it and private jets with your name on the side of it. Then you can have all the money to pay off all the hookers you need. And that's all they're going to find in the Russia investigation is Robert Mueller poring over all the different girls Donald Trump has fucked over the years and getting very aroused, jerking off, and then falling asleep. And that's the extent of the Russia investigation so far. Robert Mueller has fulfilled his sexual gratifications there, looking over the women that Donald Trump has plundered over the years. And that's what the taxpayer dollars go towards, and that's what we need, ladies and gentlemen. We need further investigation into these women that Donald Trump has inserted his penis into. And very important for the nation here so that we can right the ship, okay? Because Bill Clinton and JFK got their dick wet all the time, but they were actually handsome, okay? Donald Trump is putrid and abhorrent in his appearance, and so it triggers us when he gets pussy. So we need to put a stop to that. And Michelle Obama is the true first lady. Forget Melania Trump. We know Melania Trump is traditionally considered hot, but we're looking more toward a masculine woman to exemplify American values now. And very important that, you know, the first lady have strong shoulders and triceps and looks like she can take a punch. That's what counts in a woman nowadays. You know, if you're asking the Miss Universe contest, because we got transgender people running in the Miss Universe contest because toxic masculinity knows no bounds, okay? That's it all ties in with Michelle Obama and her. I hope she runs for president in 2020 because we need a strong woman who can do some deadlifts there. And what's important for women now is not that they can cook or be a good housewife, or what's important is that they can bench press their husband. That's what we're looking for, is a nice, just girthy woman who can really just like maybe just deadlift their husband, possibly while engaging in a sex act. I imagine that's what the Obama sex life consisted of. There's a lot of heavy lifting on Michelle's part, and who knows? Maybe she tucked that thing between her legs and gave Barack some illusion of femininity there. Who knows? I'm not going to speak on the conspiracy theory about Michelle Obama's gender there. We're going to leave that up to the peanut gallery to debate in the comments. I'm not going to speak on it. We got a lot to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. We can't get bogged down in mindless conspiracy theories here. We're going to go with the theory that Michelle Obama is a woman. She just happens to have a lot of testosterone pumping through that system there, and that's progressive for women to have a lot of testosterone, and there's no shame in it, all right? Because we got men running for Miss Universe, and it's a whole new world out there, baby, okay? And it's all contributing to the fall of Rome. version 2. Yes, what's up, Death Proof? Obama did come out in the WikiLeaks. He ordered $20,000 worth of hot dogs to the White House, and there's no code word there for male prostitutes when you're talking about hot dogs. He just enjoys his franks. Okay, he likes a nice snap to the frank when he inserts it into his communist propaganda hole there, and just really digging on some sweet wieners. And $20,000 might seem like a lot, but we get only the finest wieners for Barack. Okay, that's something to be proud of in your president. The top shelf wiener selection, and if you double the national debt while you're under your presidency, or if you are continuously at war every single day of your presidency, none of that matters. It's really about your wiener quality, wiener selection, and we want a high taste threshold for your wiener quality, everybody. Very important, and Barack Obama reminded us of that, and for that, his legacy is forever cemented within those wieners. What's up, Harry? You say any truth to the JQ. I'm not sure what JQ is in reference to. What would that Jew quotient? Let's see, jump question. The Jewish question, possibly. That might be a little shorthand for Jewish question. Not sure what you're asking. This is, if you're looking for the Nazi stream, you're off base. This is, I know the term alt-right happens to apply to libertarians and Nazis today, but we're more on the libertarian side of things. I'm a libertarian anarcho-capitalist because the government is just simply immoral, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's all fun to get caught up in the left-right paradigm and the back-and-forth politics and making fun of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi because they're ridiculous. But the Republicans are just as fake. They just pretend to support the good ideas. And so we get the left-right paradigm there. That's a nice little theater show to keep you entertained as you watch your cable news. But it's all bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. You're propagandized into it in public school and conditioned to accept it as normal, as my man Yuri Bezmenov, I think is how you say it, the communist defector there would explain about the subversion of the communists into America. I know they might have told you that Joseph McCarthy was insane, but turns out he was dead on the money. All right. What are you saying here, Harry? The idea that from the 1914 Russian Revolution to present day, Jewish people have been fomenting communism in the Western world. Well, if you look at Jewish people such as, I'm just kidding. These are just jokes with the Nazi thing. I assume you're probably not a Nazi, but you look at Jewish people like Murray Rothbard or Ayn Rand, quite against communism there. Prominent Jews against communism. There's communists of all ethnicities and backgrounds. I don't think there's anything about the Jewish ethnicity that or religion that necessarily lends itself to communism. But they have taken quite the little positions of power there in the centralized Federal Reserve and the big corporations there. So, a little bit troubling. But the Jewish people did take a hit recently when Jeff Bezos got divorced and got the $140 billion man, got his fortune halved there, thanks to the family court system. And now we got a $70 billion woman out there. Not sure if she's Jewish, but if she's tired of hanging out with short Jewish Jews, I'm just saying, a message out to Jeff Bezos' ex-wife. There's a tall German right here waiting for you. All right, if you're interested. Here at Outrage TV, we could get outrageous, Miss Bezos. Just give me the word, and we can make it happen. All right, because I don't know what amount of money it would take for me to stay faithful to one woman in her 40s for the rest of the time, but 70 billion is pushing the number. It's getting there. Because you know what? It's hard, because what else are you going to use $70 billion for other than to attract new pussy? I don't understand. You know, I'd have to be the saddest faithful man driving around in a Bugatti of all time. Sorry, miss. No. Stand faithful. Miss Bezos, she's the only one for me. Death Proof says, once subverted, even when they are showed a cell via a kick to the backside, they still love communism. Yes. Yes. And that fact is kind of troubling for me because, you know, I don't necessarily agree with that, because there are enough people on the fence, I think, that can be convinced of the truth, because I myself voted for Obama in '08 and didn't know very much at all about economics, wasn't well versed in the hoodwinking of communism there, but I, you know, was exposed to the right set of arguments, and I figured the shit out for myself. So, you know, I don't think I'm some, you know, I'm not narcissistic in the fact that I'm like some brilliant exception to the case, that like I'm the only one who could see, you know, the tricks that were being purveyed upon me and got myself out of the propaganda. I still hold out hope that there's a large group of people out there that could be swayed if they get exposed to the right arguments. And also, it doesn't hurt if you make people laugh a little bit while you're making the arguments. Hence the decision to do stand-up comedy and speak truth to all the mindless plebeians out there in the stand-up comedy audiences with their brains soaked in alcohol. And, you know, we're trying to mix a little sugar with the medicine, everybody. And a little sugar helps the medicine go down sometimes. If you can convince people to laugh at your ideology or your presentation of the truth, then they're much more willing to accept it. Like, I remember George Carlin doing a joke about, you know, his famous bit about religion is bullshit. And watching my Catholic parents laugh their asses off while they're watching it, simultaneously trying to hold back their laughter because they are supposed to disagree with it, and then looking back and forth at me and the TV, and I could see the gears turning in their head. They're like, oh, he does have a point. So that's an effective tactic there. If you can get people to laugh at the truth and see the error of their ways, very helpful. Brendan Morris, welcome to the stream, good sir. He says that he stomped his dog flat and slid it under his neighbor's gazebo. Now that is seems like an act of terrorism there. Stomping dog terrorism. How ISIS of you. How very ISIS of you. And Death Proof says 8% of the populace is now far left. Apparently it only takes 3% to overthrow a country. Well, the key to that is mockery, because the left is the extreme left is so hypocritical and so dumb and so just flagrantly idiotic that that's the patriots' job at this point, is to mock the idiots and shame them into changing, because Number one, that ideology is exhausting to maintain. Just to like be outraged by everything and disgusted and microaggressed at every turn, and it's like it's not sustainable. So the only thing we have to do is make fun of them and keep the economy afloat long enough for those ideas to die down. Which, you know, or like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says, until, you know, the planet explodes in a mushroom cloud because magical global warming. That might happen too, ladies and gentlemen. Harry says, any thoughts on the anarchist idea that humanity made a mistake in the invention of agriculture, leading to all of our modern day problems, economic, environmental, and so on? I don't see the big problem with the invention of agriculture. I think that was a net positive because, you know, we could grow crops and stockpile them for the winter and have a little deferral of gratification there. And that seemed to be what was holding people back, was the constant need to go out and hunt and gather and, you know, to sustain their communities. Whereas in agriculture, you can have a large yield crop and stockpile food for the winter and survive in the colder climates there, which is kind of why pale individuals like me exist in the modern world, because our ancestors stockpiled those crops and planned ahead, and we stayed alive, ladies and gentlemen. Our ancestors got their fuck on and they got their eat on when it came to you know, the wheat and the corn and the barley there, and hence my existence. So I don't know what you're saying with the agriculture. Let me hear more. Harry says, who's your favorite philosopher and or comedian? And what do you think he would have to say about the modern world? Unquestionably Bill Hicks. And I was just reading on Bill Hicks today. I was listening to his first CD, Dangerous. And it's funny, Hicks in his time, that he was, you know, coming up when Reagan was president. And so he did a lot of mocking of the religious right. But when you look at him ideologically, he was mainly a libertarian. He wanted to legalize drugs, and he hated big government, and he hated war. And so I think Bill Hicks, if he was still alive right now, he would probably be considered an alt-right Nazi bigot by the extreme left because, you know, he would probably be mocking the transgender thing. He would be mocking, you know, Bernie Sanders, just the idiocy on the left, because he was more in the classical liberal vein. I mean, the word liberal has come to mean absolutely nothing in the modern world, because liberal now just means, I mean, they're not anti-war anymore because they were going to vote for Hillary Clinton, or they did vote for Hillary Clinton because she wanted war with Russia. And, you know, they're not anti-communist anymore because, you know, basically Bernie Sanders' platform took over the left. Free healthcare, free college for everybody. Don't ask what free means or where the money's coming from. It's free, you know. They're not. Let's see, what else is the? They're not anti-war. They are essentially pro-communism and pro-big government. And what the term liberal has come to mean basically is a list of words you shouldn't say because they hurt people's feelings. Censorship, the new liberalism. Don't pay no attention to that whole Bill of Rights thing, or, you know, the traditional meaning of liberal, which means like liberate, or like, you know, be literate, or liberated, or free, has nothing to do with freedom anymore. It's all about what you can't do and what we're going to censor in your behavior. It's all about, you know, that's the leftist main line party platform now, is like, we're going to, you know, we've created this separate category of speech called hate speech that we subjectively decide what is hateful and what is not. And we reserve the right to shut your goddamn platform down, you Nazi bigot homophobe. Ooh. Shut him down. Shut Alex Jones down for hate speech. We don't have to define hate, just like we don't have to prove climate change. It's just happening. And we've decided it's happening, and so thus it is happening. And thus is the way of the world, because we determine the world with our brains. It's all subjective. It's happening in the mind of the leftist. We determine what happens in reality, and it has no connection to objective reality. And that's important because objective reality does not exist. It is only subjective reality. Between the ears of a leftist, that is reality. And they shall decide if you are racist or hateful, and you shall apologize. You shall get on your knees and kiss asses and genitalia until you get marched into a concentration camp, because they will never stop. Oh, I'm having fun tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, shit. Brendan, but yeah, to answer your question, unquestionably Bill Hicks. And, you know, he was a traditional classical liberal in the vein of Thomas Jefferson, which is now considered literally Hitler. If you support the Bill of Rights, literally Hitler, because it doesn't include safe spaces, it doesn't include a microaggression clause, and so you're Nazi. All right, you jackbooted, Hitler stashed asshole. Brendan Morris says, I lost my kid at the zoo, so I had Obama drone strike the iguana exhibit so I could find him. You must have some strong political connections there. Predator drones. I love how he joked about the Predator drones when he was talking about guys dating his daughters. As, you know, hundreds and hundreds of civilians were being slaughtered by the Predator drones, but he just, you know, makes a smooth, cool black guy joke. I'm Obama. I'm just a slickster mouthpiece for communism. Don't mind me. I'm just super smooth, baby. You didn't build that. That wasn't, somebody else made that happen. All right. We're gonna stay at war, and we're gonna have some federal takeovers of all these industries in the economy, and I'm gonna make it nice and cool. Don't pay any attention to that, because I'm filling out an NCAA tournament bracket. Isn't that sexy? Oh yeah, baby. I do mic drops on late night comedy shows, and I said Donald Trump would never be president, but truth has no meaning. It's all just how cool you seem in the moment, all right? You gotta be one of the cool kids. The cool kids don't care about truth, all right? It's just about looking cool and swaying your shoulders while you walk, all right? And getting bench pressed by your wife when you fuck, all right? That's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. You want a wife that can bench press you, and, you know, you want to stay at war, and you want to, you know, bloat that federal debt up. You want to at least double it. At least double that federal debt, baby. Let's get some mountains of debt piled up here, because I'm swaying my shoulders like a pimp, baby. Pimping this country. And they're going to say they miss me even after I'm gone. Because, you know, all the propaganda in the mainstream media says Donald Trump is evil and I'm good. So I'm just going to give some speeches to bankers and collect my checks. Because they financed my campaign and I bailed them out and I sold the country out to the big banks, and that's just hip. That's hip, baby. Because I got a nice left-handed jump shot. And that's all you need, baby, because nobody understands economics. Who gives a fuck, all right? We might have a little economic collapse here and there, but Obama was a cool cat, baby. You know, it's all good. It's all good in the hood, baby. Even though Obama has no connection to the black community or the hood, you know, he's raised in Hawaii and, you know, went to the most elitist school in the country, Harvard, and looks down his nose at regular people. Never mind that. He's a cool cat, baby. He's got black skin, so he cares about black people. That's what it is. All right. Cat Williams and Dave Chappelle are going to make jokes about how they voted for me just because of my skin color, and it's all cool and trendy. That's what it is, baby. Obama. Oh, dude. Can't say I didn't get hoodwinked by it because, you know, I hated John McCain enough to vote for him, but that was the first time I ever got to vote. I was 18 years old in 2008, and I was like, fuck it, Obama. You know, partially just to piss off my racist grandpa, you know. You're going to keep saying the word nigger, grandpa? Well, I'm voting for Obama. Fuck you. And I'm going to start dating a bunch of black women. How about that? Haven't regretted hanging out with black women. They're lovely. Definitely regretted the communist slickster Obama there. Yeah, I don't know. McCain might have been worse. You know, we might have gotten an even bigger war situation. Who knows? He was a psycho, man. And Obama's bullshit kind of exposed the fakeness of the left, which wasn't all bad, you know. He kind of exposed them just for being surface level, you know, nothing, no real ideas, no real arguments, just like all charisma and rhetoric and horseshit. That's that's all Obama's presidency was. And thankfully, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has a lot of time. She has over 7 years before she can actually run for president. So she has plenty of time to make herself look like the idiot she is. Because she's so hot in the streets right now. She's so trendy. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's so hot right now. We have plenty of time to debunk her idiotic arguments, and hopefully the American people can see through this horse shit. Because that was Bernie's problem, was the optics. Like, people were on board with his idiotic ideas enough, but, you know, if you look like you combed your hair with a balloon, he just looked too insane, and he was too old, and, you know, those Black Lives Matter chicks took over his rally and, like, stole the microphone away from him and, like, fuck you, Bernie, you old white fuck, we're taking this rally over. And he just stood there like, I gotta be respectful of their movement here and let them speak. And where's my balloon? I comb my hair, make sure I look nice for the cameras while I'm standing here like a cuck. And people just couldn't see that as their commander-in-chief. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, very, very much more dangerous when you got a pseudo-hot woman with the same ideas. And all the beta boys and loser feminists can be like, her, she's the one. Oh, more eyeliner, Alexandria, to thicken it up. You watch, that's what she's going to do. She's going to get tit implants and ass implants. And it's going to be like the Kylie Jenner of communism coming up when she eventually runs for president. So, you know, we got to spread the word that socialism and communism are horseshit and they don't work. You know, but it's hard to convince infantile population that expects everything to be free. Just like when they were 2 years old and their parents rightfully should have provided everything for free, but then they never grow up and they're like, why doesn't the government take the place of my parents? Why do I have to work for shit? Doesn't make sense. Just give me free shit. That's how life works, right? That's what Bernie told me. Oh, baby. We're so fired up. So fired up. What is this, a Thursday morning? We're going on Thursday morning here. Death Proof says, remember my sobering words now. There will be a civil war in the U.S. in 2020, and the elections will spark it off. The country will be made into 5 separate states via the ideology's status. You know, I don't. I. A lot of people are predicting, violence in the streets, unless there is an absolutely catastrophic economic collapse, which I'm not ruling out. Could happen because the big banks are doing the same shit they were before Obama bailed them out, because that's what bailing the banks out gets you is the same behavior. But barring that, I don't see these, these millennials and these Generation Z kids like getting out there and getting off their iPhones and getting out of their apartments and their safe spaces and actually doing anything in the real world. I just don't see it. And the majority of the population that has the right idea about defending against communism and protecting free markets and keeping the country running, they have all the guns anyway. I mean, the military is on the good guys' side for the most part. I mean, there's the psychopaths at the top of the military industrial complex that are calling these shots and like trying to change regimes in the Middle East and play this grand narcissistic chessboard and shit. But as far as the foot soldier level, I think the military and the police generally are made up of some people that have general common sense because they're connected to reality in their day-to-day lives. So I think that might work in our favor as far as a physical confrontation. But I can't lie that it does feel a little, hence the title of the stream, Smells Like the Fall of Rome. I mean, all the signs are there. We're spread out militarily, we're deep in debt, we got these insane politicians getting into power. The media is just out of control with flaming lies, like those calling the MAGA kids like the face of hatred in the country when they did absolutely nothing wrong. Just blatant like demonization of white people and Christians, and the rhetoric that we need to just keep the borders open and let these third world immigrants come in, and then the proof that the Democrats bust them around and get them to vote illegally. And I mean, the main thing is that the real salt of the earth American people don't buy the Democratic Party's horseshit anymore. And so if Trump can somehow miraculously get this wall built, ultimately he'll probably declare a state of emergency and have the military go in and help him build the wall. But it is crucial. It is a crucial piece to maintaining some semblance of a civil country here. And so hopefully it gets done. But I can't lie that it does feel like something is on the horizon that is not good. But I don't have any proof that it will actually devolve into confrontations in the street. That seems like worst case scenario type thinking. But I have a little more faith in the American public to get their shit together. I think they can. We still have enough remnants of the free market. Trump has cut taxes. He's cut regulations. Hopefully we can get small business turning over again. We can get the gears churning and have some economic growth to offset this craziness going on. But you never know. Billy Myers? No, I don't know him. What does he do? Welcome, Brian Six. Welcome to the stream. Talking about Yellowstone. Who the fuck knows, bro? I'm not a geologist. Who knows if a I mean, if a volcano ends at all, I mean, wouldn't that just be the ultimate joke? Like everybody's predicting, civil unrest and economic collapse and left versus right at each other's throats, and then just a volcano just erupts out of Yellowstone and well, that's the end of it. Oh, I know it's not the average volcano. It would definitely fuck us all up if it blew, but is there any evidence that it's gonna blow? Or like, I think the thing is, like, there's a certain timeline where it's like estimated to blow up, and so like we're kind of due for it, like, but who the fuck knows? I'm not a geologist. I'm just a laissez-faire economist here, breaking it down for the layperson, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Six says everything shouldn't be free, but it should be within the grasp of those willing to work for it. Well, should is an interesting choice of words there. What services are you saying should be within the grasp of people? I agree that, prices should be coming down when they're not, because entirely too many things are controlled by the government, and so they get inefficiently managed. Resources get misallocated, and we have idiot bureaucrats in charge of things that people should be controlling in the private sector, like school without massive debt. I think one of the biggest things we could do is to privatize more schools, because government school is just insanely propagandistic. It's basically a government worker training center to just train you that, for any societal problems that arise, the government will swoop in like a superhero and da 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 da. The government is here to save you. And that's the story of everything you read in the public school textbooks, and propagated through the Common Core system. And it's cancer to the minds of young people. And so I think we've got to have a homeschooling movement. If you have kids, do not put them in public school. It will rot their brains. I mean, they can always hang out with the kids at public school and, get their bad influences. Everybody needs a little, like a vaccination. Like a little bit of it stimulates your immune system. You can get a little bit of the stupid just to see, what not to do. But you don't want it 7 hours a day being hammered into your kid's head that the government is the solution to societal problems, and you don't want them being fed the Common Core narratives. You want a homeschool, or you want a really I don't even know the private school regulations, whether they have to comply with Common Core or not. But if you send them to a school, make sure they don't have to comply with Common Core, and have some stern conversations with those teachers about what they're actually teaching your kid. Otherwise, I think it's worth it, especially if you have a good wife at home who could stay home, and you can bring home enough bacon to support the family. Have her homeschool your kids, and that's an enjoyable experience for your kids and for your wife to be able to impart some wisdom there to the next generation, ladies and gentlemen. At least that's my plan for when I have kids, because I inevitably want to pass these psycho genes of mine on to another human being there. But I don't want them to be corrupted by the system. Don't let the government raise your kids. How about you raise your kids, ladies and gentlemen? Good luck having a household live on a single income. It's a good point, especially out here in Los Angeles. Oh, what just happened to the camera there? Okay, we're good. Especially out here in Los Angeles. I got high aspirations, though, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to sell out the Staples Center and talk about how taxation is theft. So we're gonna get it done, okay? I'm gonna be trashing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, especially once she gets her titty implants and her ass implants and tries to run for president. I'm going to be front line, speaking truth to power, and calling out the communists, ladies and gentlemen. And if there's some truth to be spoken, I will speak it on stage, live and in your face, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody's got to do it. Why not me? Why not your federal outrage chancellor? I'm taking the burden upon my back to get out here and affect change in the world and make people laugh at the same time, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big bite to bite off there. It's a lot to chew, But God damn it, I can't think of anything more meaningful to spend my life doing. So it shall be done. And every day along the way, I will be coming on live and talking to you beautiful people. I will become the next Bill Hicks. Well, much blessings for that premonition there. Bill Hicks, my favorite comic of all time. And I hope to, with this, I'm staying away from the cigarettes. I hope to not get pancreatic cancer like Mr. Hicks there. And I hope to carry on the philosophical legacy and get some shit done out here, ladies and gentlemen. Because I feel like the public is thirsty for it. I can't wait to go, do some shows back in the Midwest and shit and get on the road and get out of this bubble in LA where, everything is so cynical and leftist and weird and, it's an interesting little culture out here. And, it's like running with a weight vest on. Because I know that the shit I'm doing on stage that's getting half-assed laughs out here would kill in the Midwest because I'm going straight at the sacred cows out here, making fun of transgender people and gay people and big government and the whole subversion narrative and climate change and the South too. I love the South. Been there selectively over the years. I've been places in Texas and whatnot. I'm looking forward to it. Ooh, I'm having fun with you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do one more White Claw. They're not a sponsor of the podcast quite yet, but hey, it's fucking delicious. Did a little hard seltzer there. I took some notes from Owen Benjamin with his marathon streams, and White Claw's the shit. It'll get you talking slick like Obama and filling out NCAA tournament brackets and selling communism to the American public. God damn it, the sky's the limit. I'm just trying to find a good woman who can bench press me while we fuck and also homeschool my children. So I'm looking for neurons and triceps, okay? All right, let's get into some shit I was had on the docket here. I woke up this morning and I saw on Twitter the first headline, some super creepy shit in Hollywood, of course. Mr. Bryan Singer, the director of the X-Men movies and some other big movies I can't think of right now. So huge, top of the mountain Hollywood director, under fire for poking around with some young male assholes there. Entirely too young. He was poking and prodding, apparently, at some exclusive Hollywood parties. And that was the first thing I did when I woke up this morning, as I rolled over in bed and started reading the horrific tales of the super creepy pedo loser Bryan Singer, who essentially is participating in some kind of pedophilia ring here in Hollywood. And those are the fruits of being a big time Hollywood slickster, is you get to diddle around with those little boy assholes. And isn't it so much fun? So fucking disgusting, dude. You just look at his picture. He's got that fat, wide face with those fucking little fucking geeky director glasses. He's got his hair gel in and shit. He's like, yo, where are the little boy assholes? Let's tell them they're gonna get a role in the X-Men movie. So goddamn creepy, dude. When you think about the power these people have in Hollywood, and I spent the whole morning sending out emails to all these big Hollywood management companies and agencies trying to get my script sold, because I am an aspiring screenwriter here. So I am trying to make movies, not trying to play with little boys' assholes. Apparently, it's mutually exclusive. Um, you know, is that part of the contract there? Well, we want to buy your script. It's really important. But first of all, do you know what a glory hole is? We'd like to introduce you to a little situation here. We've got 10, 15-year-old boys in the next room if you like. I just want to make movies, guys. You don't want to, you're not interested at all? I mean, Mr. Singer, he's procured some nice young butthole there. And don't tell me you're not interested in the young butthole. Guys, I'm not a sodomite. I promise. I grew up watching a lot of movies. I really I was hoping to just work my way into Hollywood and work really hard and have some good stories. And stories? Let me tell you a story about all the assholes you could get at your parties at your mansion, okay? That's the story you should be interested in. Is all the bedtime stories you can tell all the 15-year-old boys that you've fucked in order to get them to go to sleep. It's so disgusting, dude. It's so unbelievable that these people get away with this shit. It's just, and it's right here, like where I live. I'm right here in the belly of the beast, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully there's some semblance of justice here, and this motherfucker goes to jail for the rest of his life. Because, the details in the story that this article went through, it was like the chances that he's innocent in this is virtually zero. Fucking disgusting, man. It's hard to even make jokes about it, but I just had to comment on it because, as the first thing I read this morning, and it was just it fucked me up. I was like, man, this is just unbelievable. A guy with that much sway in Hollywood, and I was reading comments on Reddit, and somebody was like, yeah, I was a production assistant on a movie set where Bryan Singer was directing, and people were letting me know, don't go to his parties that he invites you to because it's super creepy. And somebody was like, yeah, I went to one of his parties and there was just a bunch of young little boys around. And it's so fucking gross, dude. Yeah, joke about everything. I tried to throw a couple in there, but some shit is just so infuriating, dude. I just want to punch that fucking melon head in the face and bust his fucking glasses up. Because that's what he needs. He needs to fucking be curb stomped, dude. Disgusting fucking people like that, they'll never stop until you fucking teach them a lesson. It's just super disturbing, man. Anyway, it's just so creepy, all the shit that was going on with Weinstein and then Singer, and these people get into power in Hollywood and just think they're untouchable and they're fucking gods, and that they can just, shift reality and bend it to their will and fucking when you're living out in Beverly Hills in a fucking giant mansion and it's just 75 and sunny every day, I don't know. Some people just go insane with power. And they're just I can get away with anything. And then I'm sure he has dirt on other people that have been involved in the situation. And so he feels untouchable, and he'll out other people if, they try to really come down on him. But hopefully he gets what's fucking coming to him. Brian Six says, it's almost like these people get away with this for decades and no one says anything about it. Makes me wonder if there's someone these pedos pissed off. Yeah. And it's but yeah, Donald Trump is the bad guy. Donald Trump is the big evil force that's wrong in America because he wants to enforce border laws. But, Harvey Weinstein mouth fucking actresses so that they can get a role, or Bryan Singer raping little boys that play roles in his movies. Don't look at that. No investigation needed. But Robert Mueller shouldn't be looking at that. Robert Mueller's looking at all the grown women hookers that Donald Trump has been with over the years, and that's the big problem. That a consensually agreed upon fuck session between Donald Trump and a lady of the night. It was originally about Russia collusion, but none of that panned out. So we're just mad that he fucked some hookers like 20 years ago. So that's impeach him. And Bryan Singer is going to direct the movie about how evil Donald Trump is. And it's like, so dumb, dude. They're making a Brexit movie right now. Benedict Cumberbatch is playing Nigel Farage. And I can only assume they're going to make Nigel Farage look like some kind of buffoon idiot that just somehow hoodwinked the British people into choosing Brexit and choosing their own national sovereignty. Like, how could the British people choose their own sovereignty over the rulership of the EU? The EU rules over them properly, and that's the rightful order of the universe. The EU makes all of the decisions. They're not elected, per se, but they are anointed by God to make the decisions in society, and the British people have no say what happens in their society. It's all the EU. We think for them. We act for them. We are their spinal cord, their heart, their neurons, everything. And Nigel Farage came along and said, we want to be free. What a bigot. It's so bigoted to be free, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? And that's why you see, Brexit's probably not even going to happen, even though they voted for it. Instead, Hollywood just makes a movie mocking it. And, Bryan Singer fucks a bunch of kids on the set of the movie, and everybody, laughs and parties it up. All right? Party it up for sodomy, ladies and gentlemen. It's a sodomy party. All right. Sip that sodomy punch. Death Proof is from the UK and voted UKIP plus Brexit. Plus, we don't speak like that. Oh, my apologies, sir. Little too haughty with the British accent. Not trying to offend. Just to make a few jokes here. So yeah, creepy Hollywood pedos. And then the other thing, Jeeves. Ask Jeeves, yes, sir. And then I was going to make fun of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I already did a little bit. She says the world is ending in 12 years because of climate change. No evidence needed. She's brown-skinned, cute woman there. And so that's all we need. And just believe her. And imagine her sucking your dick. And then that's all you need. And the world's going to end in 12 years. And yeah. I mean, pay Al Gore all your money. I mean, and if it doesn't happen, that's okay, because that's what happened with the Inconvenient Truth documentary. None of his predictions came true. And we just moved right along, ladies and gentlemen, with the narrative that it's going to happen eventually. We keep the scare tactics up long enough, you're going to give us that money, all right? With your evil carbon footprint. Never mind that plants use carbon dioxide to live. Don't pay attention to photosynthesis biology 101. That's not applicable to the large-scale computer modeling of the climate scientists. And when you take into account the circumference of Al Gore's swishing hips in the wind, you're going to have a major problem when it comes to the environment, and Leonardo DiCaprio knows this. That's why he has his own private jet, and I have a oceanside mansion that has a heated pool in it, and that's okay for me. But for the plebeians, you need to pay me that tax money. Yeah, the old climate change narrative there. Don't be a science denier, everybody. And let's see, the Indiana mayor is apparently trying to run for president. Pete, I can't even pronounce his last name. Oh, his last name has "but" in it. Pete Buttigieg could be the first openly gay president there. Definite possibility. Yeah, I love just this narrative of like we need a first gay something, and they don't even talk about his policies. They just celebrate that he butt fucks. You know, we don't need to know his policies. Is he butt fucking or not? We need to know. Super important for the agenda here. We need our first butt fucker in office. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even know the Indiana mayor was gay here. Apparently he's an Afghanistan war veteran. Respect, homie. Not saying I agree with the military-industrial complex agenda there, but got to respect the people that put their lives on the line for the country. Death Proof says climate change is bullshit. Most climate scientists disagree with the mainstream. Yeah, consensus isn't science. As shocking as it is, just because a bunch of people agree on some shit doesn't mean it's scientifically valid. That's not exactly the scientific method there. Pretty much the diametric opposition of the scientific method to say we have settled science. No such thing as settled science. Science is a process of determining things based on reason and evidence and continual experimentation and verifying things based on empirical evidence and data. What the climate scientists do is they have these climate models that using high-powered computing, they project into the future to determine what the climate is going to be in 10 or 20 years or whatever. Meanwhile, the meteorologists on the weather report can't get shit right in the next 3 days. Oh, what a surprise! It rained. We had no idea. I guess the climate scientists need to share their algorithms with us so we can get these goddamn forecasts correct. But the climate scientists know what's going to happen in 10 or 20 plus years. And they can project because, computer modeling, it's basically science. If you just buy into the narrative here and put Al Gore's dick in your ear, in and out like that, then you can convince yourself that it's happening. All right? If you take enough Quaaludes like Leonardo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street, you can delude yourself into believing Bill Nye. Very important to drug yourself up enough to attach to the narrative there. So yeah, very important. We have butt-fucking politicians. Apparently Israel and Iran are heating up the saber rattling there. Israel bombed some quote-unquote Iranian strongholds in Syria. And a lot of tensions there. So hopefully that doesn't blow up. I just don't like the fact that America has to sign on to defending all of Israel's actions militarily. Like, if we weren't guaranteeing them military backing, they probably wouldn't be as ballsy with the shit they're doing. And it's like, I don't know if they're clearing that with the American military or not, but it's like, if we're military allies with Israel, it's like, settle the fuck down, fellas. What are we doing here? Is it really worth it? Who the fuck knows, ladies and gentlemen? So hopefully that dies down the old Middle Eastern conflict there. Between the Jews and the Arabs, they just can't reconcile their differences, can they? You know, Israel should just defend its own borders. Why are they trying to meddle in other countries and bomb Syria for whatever reason? Like, don't you have enough trouble keeping, you know, the Palestinians out of your country, or like, you know, maintaining your own borders? Like, I mean, you're getting cocky. I mean, we need to start calling out Israel for how racist their border wall is. I think that's the next step. Because border walls are racist, remember. Unless you're in Israel or China. If you're in America, border walls, super racist, super naughty. Okay, basically Hitler. If you want a border wall, they should just concentrate on, you know, not being called racist for their border wall and maintaining their own borders and country there. How about not bombing other people? And like, you know, it's like, you know, America has your back at the bar, so you start some shit and like grab another guy's girlfriend's ass, and you're like, yeah, we get in that ass, baby. And America's like, God damn it, you're gonna get us into a fist fight over this bullshit? Totally unnecessary. Anyway. One last thing here that I had on my list. Los Angeles is considering charging drivers by the mile, apparently. Because apparently there's too much congestion on the roadways. And one of the politicians said that it might be tough to implement because it's a challenge to the, quote, God-given right to drive anywhere the drivers want. And, you know, we just got to stop. People have too much damn self-reliance and freedom. I mean, that's the problem with living in modern America. We have too much freedom. We can drive anywhere we want. We need more tolls and taxes. That's the big problem. Man, living in LA is getting a little sketchy, ladies and gentlemen. If they start implementing that and we have a bunch of tolls everywhere, man, I don't even think the traffic is that bad. I mean, if you plan your trips around the big rush hour times, it's not even that bad. But it's like just another excuse for the government to fucking dip into that wallet there. Because we know it's a human right to have access to the white man's wallet. Okay? How dare you, you Nazi, keeping that wallet closed. I will, Death Proof. I will look up Billy Myers. Brian Six says if we ever have a gay president, that will be the last straw. Yeah, I don't know if America's ready for a gay president. I mean, if he was a libertarian and he was like, yeah, let's cut taxes and cut spending and cut regulations and just get down to a minarchist situation and just have the bare bones government, I'd be like, fuck yeah, get that butt fucker in office. You know, but that's never what it's about. It's never about, you know, his policies or his ideas. It's about, how about we get some butt fucking in here? That'd be nice. Yeah, that's not how it would be. It's just funny to me the left like celebrates this identity horseshit of like, yeah, we got a Muslim congresswoman. It's great for diversity. It's like, what are her policy positions? Sharia law? Like, nobody even fucking knows. It's like, she's Muslim. Winning. It's so dumb. We got a transgender congresswoman now. You know, it's so dumb and surface level. Nobody ever digs deep enough into it. But that's what low IQ population gets you. And if you keep importing third world migrants, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get idiocracy, ladies and gentlemen, and the fall of Rome. But hopefully Trump stands strong in the face of this bullshit and continues to cut taxes and regulations. Hopefully he can cut some goddamn spending. That spending bill, the last one, was atrocious. But you know, he's staving off the communist overhaul and, you know, cannibalism in the streets like Venezuela there. So let's all be thankful for that we got Trump in instead of Hillary to stave off the inevitable implosion of the economy there. And there's a glimmer of hope that we can grow our way out of this situation, and we have the internet to be able to spread the good ideas and share them out. So like the stream if you like it, share it out to people. I'm trying to, you know, get the good ideas out to people, and you know, push back against the bullshit narratives out there in society, and share some laughs at the same time, and have a good time while we're making the world a lot better. So those are my goals, ladies and gentlemen. It's been fun hanging out. I like these late night streams. I might keep it on this schedule. But yeah, I'm gonna be cutting together some clips for at Nick Jordan himself on Instagram. You can follow me there. You can follow me on Twitter at I am Nick Jordan. Nick Jordan on Facebook is me with the microphone and a blue shirt with a little longer hair. I post on there all the time. And if you want the audio for this podcast, search Outrage Cast, all one word, on iTunes or any of the podcast apps. And Bitcoin address below if you're feeling generous. That's, you know, always appreciated, ladies and gentlemen. Death Proof, Brian, thanks for hanging out, fellas. It was fun talking some shit. And share it out if you like it. Like it if you like it, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you beautiful motherfuckers tomorrow. Good night. Good night, Outragians. Peace out.